This is Valley View News.
Abortion rights opponents have started a campaign against a California abortion bill, which supporters say will give women more safety options. A traffic light has activated at an intersection near an LA elementary school months after it was installed. And a small jet plane has crashed at the Santa Monica airport as it was trying to land, leaving no survivors.
Hello and welcome to Valley View News. I'm Dylan Connolly.
And I'm Jade Jenkins. California's new abortion bill was the focal point during the National Day of Remembering Unborn Children in East Los Angeles. Valley View News reporter Mona Adem has more on the story.
Glory, glory, hallelujah. His string is marching on.
These people say they are remembering the unborn children lost to abortion. They call it a Holocaust or murder.
Abortion is murder. Abortion is wrong, it's sin.
Abortion right opposer Nusa Moore says this is a fight for the voiceless.
I believe that every life needs to be protected. Every life needs to be defended and protected. Every baby needs to be loved.
But opponents say this was not only a day to pray or share grief for the unborn. It was also a way to raise political awareness.
Memorial service for these children.
California Pro-Life Council member Brian Johnson urged people to help stop the new abortion bill recently passed by both California Assembly and Senate.
Well, the abortion industry has said that they want abortions between a woman and her doctor. But what's happened is that they're actually making abortion commonplace, and it's not a medical procedure in their mind anymore.
The bill, AB 154, will allow non-physicians such as licensed midwives and nurses to perform abortion. President for Foot Soldiers for Life, Katrina Contreras, says the new bill will not only hurt women, but also increase the death rate of women in California.
I really want to reiterate that women are dying from abortion, and it is happening across the United States, and it will increase in the state of California.
Planned Parenthood, who sponsored the bill, does not believe it will create any kind of safety risk for women. Instead, they argue that the bill will not only provide access, but better options for safer abortions. Planned Parenthood's Celinda Vasquez says a study contradicts the safety risk argument.
And it showed that actually the procedure performed by trained, certified nurse midwives, physician assistants, and nurse practitioners was actually exactly as safe as performed by a physician, and that the patient satisfaction was very high.
The decades-long debate surrounding abortion is a worldwide issue. Pope Francis recently called abortion a consequence of today's throwaway culture. Ana Valadares is the director of research for California Latinos for Reproductive Justice. She says while the churches are very powerful, surveys have shown that religion may not play a decisive role in family formation for Latinos.
And one of the findings that I found really amazing was that, the adults listed that even though, religion was important in their lives, it doesn't really dictate what their decisions are at the end of the day around family formation, for example, around pregnancy or even terminating a pregnancy.
Valadera says abortion is only one part of the health and reproductive rights women should have.
We feel that they're all equally important, and women, again, should be able to decide which, when and how many and with who they're able to have children. And not be separated from those children.
Lord, we commend these souls to you.
While most people here oppose abortion for religious reason, one also has a personal reason.
Maybe 20 or so more years ago, probably more, when I was younger, I had 2 abortions. And all my life I have lived with this feeling of not knowing who my children were and stuff like that. So I've become pro-life because I need to do something. If I don't do it, nobody else will.
In East Los Angeles, I'm Mona Adem for Valley View News.
A traffic light at an intersection near an LA elementary school was installed because of worries the intersection was unsafe, but the light remained off for months. As Hector Mejia reports, it was a concern for people like Sumshum, principal at Marvin Avenue Elementary.
I spent several mornings in this corner trying to observe what was going on. The difficulty is that cars speed through here.
The intersection is a 3-minute walk away from Marvin Avenue Elementary. The school principal also says he worked with Councilman Herb Wesson's office to get a traffic light. Construction began September of last year, but 7 months after traffic light poles were installed and 5 weeks into the start of a new semester, they remain off and covered.
It's been a while, but I can't wait for it to actually be in operation.
Within a week after contacting the LA Department of Transportation, crews showed up to turn on the lights. But these poles were installed 7 months ago, and crew members said off camera that they were sent this week to turn on the lights. They also believe a shortage of manpower could have delayed the installation.
But according to Patricia Restrepo from LADOT, there was no delay in the installation.
There was some infrastructure that was still pending and being done. So that was the reason why the gap in between February and until now.
She couldn't confirm whether there was a shortage in personnel, nor when it was decided to turn on the lights, which were turned on the same day of our interview. Crews arrived this morning just before school started. They had the lights running within a few hours and painted crosswalks at the intersection. Parents and residents were happy to finally see crews working on the lights. They say they'll feel safer when crossing Washington Boulevard now that the traffic lights work. In Mid-City, Hector Mejia, Valley View News.
The passengers and pilot have been killed after their private jet crashed into a hangar at the Santa Monica airport. The twin-engine Cessna crashed around 6 o'clock Sunday evening. The business jet had flown from Haley, Idaho to Santa Monica. Investigators say the plane crashed when it tried to land. It went off the right side of the runway, hit the hangar, and burst into flames. The Santa Monica Fire Department and National Transportation Safety Board were both investigating at the scene.
A section of a Chicago passenger train has been crushed after colliding with another train. The wreck injured nearly 50 people. The victims of the crash were taken to 10 hospitals. Reports say none of the injuries were serious, but most suffered from back and neck pain. The crash happened at about 8 in the morning near Forest Park. Forest Park Mayor Anthony Calderon says it appears the trains collided on the tracks at a commuter station.
At least 74 people are missing after 3 Chinese fishing boats sank. Authorities say the boats were caught on the open sea by a typhoon. 2 other fishing boats were caught in the storm but managed to make it to safety to port. The typhoon made landfall in Vietnam.
President Obama and Congress have not reached agreement on a spending bill, with the deadline only hours away. The U.S. government would technically be out of money if spending resolution was not reached. That would mean non-essential government workers would be furloughed. Military paychecks, small business loans, and passport processing would also come to a stop.
President Obama and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will meet to discuss key issues in the Middle East. The two are set to discuss negotiations with the Palestinians, Iran's nuclear program, and the civil war in Syria. Israel has been critical of the U.S. recently for trusting Iran and working around Israel regarding the Palestinians. President Obama talked to Iranian President Hassan Rouhani, marking the first time the two countries' leaders have talked since 1979. Obama and Netanyahu have had a strained relationship for several years, disagreeing on issues concerning the Palestinians and Iran.
Amanda Knox and her ex-boyfriend will be put on trial again for the murder of Knox's former roommate. Italy's highest court has overturned Knox's 2007 acquittal. The court says the case was based on deficiencies, contradictions, and illogical conclusions. The appellate court in Florence will re-examine the evidence. Knox and her ex-boyfriend allegedly helped kill 21-year-old Meredith Kircher, who was found with more than 40 wounds. Prosecutors allege that Kircher was killed after refusing to participate in an orgy. Both Knox and her ex-boyfriend deny having any role in the murder.
An audio recording widely circulated on social media makes an unusual claim. The voice says he is Hugo Chavez, the dead former leader of Venezuela, and that he's still alive. The recording comes nearly 7 months after authorities announced Chavez's death from cancer. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro says right-wing opponents made the fake recording to try and destabilize his government. Maduro also says that the recording falsely implies that Chavez has been kidnapped. Maduro's remarks are the latest in a series of accusations alleging plots to destabilize his government or assassinate him. He has made at least 11 such accusations since the beginning of his presidency.
At least 40 students have died in a shooting at a Nigerian college. Officials say gunmen opened fire in a men's dorm around 1 a.m. Authorities suspect the Islamic terrorist group Boko Haram is responsible for the killings. Boko Haram translates to Western education is a sin. The group often targets schools and churches.
Coming up in sports, National League Baseball pitcher has closed a game with a no-hit walk-off, and a company that manufactures baseball bats for a local major league team invited Valley View News behind the scenes.
The next 30 seconds can save you a lot of money. Just do your laundry in cold and stick to full loads. Auto-sleep your computers. Plug your gadgets in a power strip and switch it off when you're done. Headed out? Turn back your thermostat by 10 degrees. And drive sensibly. The more energy you save, the more money you save. Find other great tips at energysaver.gov.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
There's no place like home.
Getting home safely is just a click away, and choosing the right seat for your little one's age and size will take you down the road to safer travels.
How can I ever thank you enough?
Visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
Now that football season has started, are you more in tune to the baseball season?
I'm very excited, Dylan, for football. I'm very excited for my Ravens, but please, Joe Flacco, get it together. Now that the baseball postseason is underway, one local company shows us its contribution to the game. Reporter Stephanie Marroquin has more on the story.
At first glance, this piece of wood may seem like just plain lumber. But when it meets the hands of specialized crafters, this wood will undergo an ultimate transformation. And in just a few hours, it will become a Major League Baseball bat. Here at Trinity Bat Company in Fullerton, one family's dream of retailing bats to professional and amateur players came true. Vice President Jeff McKee says when they first started Trinity Bats, they landed 2 Major League players.
Vladimir Guerrero with the Angels and Orlando Cabrera with the Angels.
And the list of Major League players like Mark Trumbo of the Angels continues to grow. Here at Trinity Bats, there is an option between 3 different types of wood: birch, ash, and maple. And players can choose from 150 styles of bats that fit their comfort. This intricate process begins here with the carving of a piece of lumber into a bat. The bat is then sanded down to give it a smooth touch. Any extra parts are either carved out or cut off. The bat then moves into the hands of a painter for the final product look. Keep in mind, although the process may seem simple enough, a lot more calculation is involved.
We weigh each bat about 3 to 4 times throughout the process. So I'll weigh it before I cut it, I'll weigh it after I cut it, I'll weigh it after I sand it, it gets weighed after it gets painted. All those processes will take weight off, the painting puts weight on, so it's all, we weigh it about 3 or 4 times.
The bat is now ready for the player's name or signature to be engraved.
We're a Christian-based company, so we're not in your face with it, but we pour those values into our product and into our customer service.
McKee says even blemished bats are put to a good use. They are personalized with artwork and sold to regular customers. They call them the Artist Series bats, and the sale proceeds go to a nonprofit organization.
20% of the sales from the Artist Series goes to the Nicaragua Baseball Project.
Trinity Bats is also looking to start making gloves in Nicaragua.
That's an exciting thing. It's also starting to fund just the local economy in Nicaragua as well too. So we're just not sending equipment to Nicaragua and then leaving. So we're establishing contracts for local leather companies, just small businesses, to where they're going to start making gloves and equipment over there and the 20% of our sales from the Artist Series goes to fund that as well too.
Trinity Bats continues to grow each year and are slowly picking up major league clients on the East Coast. From Fullerton, California, I'm Stephanie Marroquin, Valley View News.
The father of a slain Dodgers fan has made a public plea for witnesses to come forward. The man's 24-year-old son was stabbed to death after a game between the Dodgers and San Francisco Giants. Jonathan Denver attended the game in San Francisco when a Giants fan allegedly attacked him. The suspect, Michael Montgomery, was released because authorities say they lacked evidence. Montgomery said the victim threw a chair at him first, which led to the stabbing. Denver's father spoke in front of the AT&T ballpark before the Giants played the San Diego Padres. He's hoping that someone recorded the fight on video and will produce it as evidence. The Tampa Bay Rays and Texas Rangers are playing in an extra American League tiebreaker game. This will be the 163rd game of the season. Both teams finished with a record of 91 and 71. The winner of this game will go on to play the Cleveland Indians for the wild card spot. The team that wins the game will go on to the postseason. The Miami Marlins ended the season in spectacular fashion against the Detroit Tigers. Marlins pitcher Henderson Alvarez pitched a no-hitter and helped the Marlins to win the game 1-0. This was Major League Baseball's third no-hitter of the season and the first time in Alvarez's career. Miami won in the 9th inning when the Tigers pitcher Luke Pekkonen threw a wild pitch and allowed the only run of the game. This is the 4th no-hitter in league history to occur in the final day of the season. Alvarez completed 3 seasons and ends this year with a record of 5-6. Dwight Howard says he's upset by how an agent gave the news of him leaving the Lakers. Howard said he wanted to give the news in person to the Lakers' Mitch Kupchak, and he didn't want the team to find out about his decision from a secondary source. He wanted to be respectful to the team and thank them for the opportunity for playing for the Lakers. The Los Angeles Dodgers will be without one of their best players heading into the postseason. Center fielder Matt Kemp is out for the playoffs because of swelling in his left ankle. The team worries that if Kemp played, the ankle could break and leave him with chronic problems for the rest of his career. Without Kemp, the Dodgers expect Skip Schumacher to start in center field during the playoffs. The Kansas City Chiefs have become one of the few teams to go from zero to hero in a short period of time. Star players Alex Smith and Dexter McCluster led the Chiefs to a 31-7 victory against the New York Giants. The Detroit Lions have also turned things around, building a winning team far from their losing days in the 80s. USC has announced the firing of their football team's head coach. Lane Kiffin was fired Sunday morning after USC's 62-41 loss to Arizona State. USC Athletic Director Pat Hayden released Kiffin after the coach served just 9 months. Kiffin lost 7 out of USC's past 11 games. Sources say Hayden fired Kiffin because of the embarrassment USC was suffering. The Olympic torch has officially been lit for the 2014 Winter Games in Sochi, Russia. The lighting took place in Greece using the sun's rays bounced off from parabolic mirrors. The ceremony included people dressed as ancient Olympians. Alex Ovechkin of the Washington Capitals was the first person to carry the torch on the long run to Russia. The torch is due to travel by hot air balloon, dog sled, and even scheduled to travel to space. The games will begin on February 7th and end on February 23rd. That's all for sports. Now back to you.
Coming up next in entertainment news, an Emmy Award-winning TV show has aired its last episode. A Twitter battle has erupted between 2 celebrities and the latest update on the Hillary Clinton documentary.
Really? Buzz, what's up, man? You left some leaves burning out here.
Yeah, I just came in just for a second.
Come on, man. If it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave. You could torch the whole neighborhood.
It's a good point there, Smokey.
9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Separate raw meats from other foods by using different cutting boards. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Now over to Nanor with our entertainment news. So Nanor, tell me what you thought about the series finale of Breaking Bad.
Jade, I thought it was amazing. I mean, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with my Sunday nights now. AMC's Breaking Bad reached top ratings in its grand finale as the best TV drama series. Critics and viewers called it a perfect ending. Reports show over 10 million viewers watched the final episode. There were more than 1 million tweets sent and 3 million Facebook postings. Although the ratings were high, HBO's The Sopranos and Sex and the City both had higher ratings in their final episodes. About 1,000 people went to the Long Beach Convention Center to support a local charity raising money for their program. As Naomi Ogaldes reports, the event was all about families and charity.
Musicians, vendors, car and motorcycle owners all came to fundraise money for the Long Beach Ronald McDonald House.
It's important for people to show up and contribute, because without the donors, there is, the house doesn't exist the way it should, and we believe in it. So we benefited, and we hope it's there for others in the future.
Bob and Linda Bray received the devastating news parents fear the most.
My daughter was diagnosed on May 9th with a brain tumor in her cerebellum, the size actually bigger than a golf ball.
During their 14-year-old daughter's surgery, the Brays stayed at the Long Beach Ronald McDonald House, where meals were provided, a place to sleep, and access to laundry facilities.
It was such a blessing to have that place to, have our luggage and our clothes and everything. Even though we live in Palos Verdes, it's still a long way home. And one of the requests my daughter had was just for us to be there with her, and it allowed us to be there, take turns and shifts to be there with her before the surgery and then after the surgery.
The house has 23 rooms that serve families whose children are receiving treatment at Miller Children's Hospital and nearby medical facilities.
We like to refer to ourselves as the home away from home for families with critically ill children. All of the proceeds from today benefit our program.
The Long Beach Ronald McDonald House is hosting its first ever car and motorcycle show. They have about 24 vendors and 150 displays, from classics to sports to originals like this Batmobile.
The better fit than the Batmobile and bringing the Batmobile to share with everybody and their families. It's about families and charity.
Other classical collectors brought their car collection to the show, like Price Transfer Automobilia president Rick Lorenzen. His private collection consists of Willys, Oldsmobiles, and Cadillacs that were built only for the collection.
Well, we teamed up with Ronald McDonald House, which we've always, thought was one of the best charities at helping kids and their families. And we're kind of proud and honored to be here as a title sponsor to the event.
The Long Beach Ronald McDonald House hopes to make the car and motorcycle show an annual event so they can keep raising money to help families like the Brays.
We'll just never forget that experience for the rest of our lives.
Their daughter was able to recover and go back to her daily life routine.
That's the miracle in it all. We took her home that following Saturday, and within a week she was out with friends and having a great time, and she's made a full recovery.
In Long Beach, I'm Naomi Ogaldes for Valley View News.
CNN will cancel a documentary about Hillary Clinton. Director Charles Ferguson says he decided not to make the movie after being thwarted by both Clinton's staff and the Republican National Committee. Ferguson says he was interrogated by one of Clinton's aides. Her advisor also contacted CNN to express concern. Ferguson also cited Republicans' decision to withhold CNN as a future debate sponsor if the project went ahead. Kanye West launched a Twitter war with Jimmy Kimmel, venting over the late-night host poking fun at him. West began bashing Kimmel after he learned the comedian hired child performers to reenact his BBC Radio 1 interview. In the real interview, West said rappers are the new rock stars, and he's the biggest of them all. 3 days after West began the feud, the rapper deleted more than a dozen tweets blasting the Jimmy Kimmel Live host. It appears he's made a habit of scrubbing his Twitter page, as only 33 tweets remain since he joined in July 2010. A survey by the Screen Actors Guild reportedly shows 72% of openly gay and lesbian actors said it had no effect on their careers. However, it also showed discrimination against LGBT performers in the entertainment industry still exists. Over half the LGBT actors who responded to the survey said they had heard directors and actors make anti-gay comments. 9% of lesbian and gay respondents said their sexual orientation prevented them from getting a job. Prince William and Kate Middleton will move into their new home in London. The royal couple and their son Prince George will move into apartment 1A at Kensington Palace. The apartment has 5 reception rooms, 3 bedrooms, dressing rooms and bathrooms, and a night and day nursery. More than $1.5 million of taxpayers' money was used to renovate the apartment. The royal family will cover the decorating costs. And that's all for entertainment news. Back to you, Jade.
The Los Angeles Philharmonic will celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Walt Disney Concert Hall. The orchestra, led by music director Gustavo Dudamel, will give a series of free concerts with special guest Julie Andrews. Another concert with the Youth Orchestra of Los Angeles will be shown on a giant screen at Grand Park. The concert series is called Inside Out, in honor of architect Frank Gehry, who designed the Disney Concert Hall.
Dog owners worried about boarding Fido in a kennel now have another place to send their pets. Dog Vacay arranges for host families to take a dog and charge about half of what a kennel would. Dogs are given one-on-one attention, and the host family even sends daily photos and videos to the owners. It doesn't say if the dogs can receive postcards from their vacationing owners.
A man has found his stolen SUV with help from Google Earth. The victim was scanning Google Earth for a good hunting spot when he noticed something that looked like a small shack. The man and his son went to the coordinates and they discovered his SUV that had been stolen in March. The SUV was so well hidden under the brush that the man and his son were 10 feet away before they realized they were looking at a vehicle. Authorities say an investigation into the theft is ongoing.
Nestle Purina Pet Care says its internet sensation Grumpy Cat is now the spokescat for Friskies brand of cat food. Photos of Grumpy have become popular on Facebook and other social media. Grumpy Cat is also going to receive a Lifetime Achievement Award on October 15th as Friskies honors the best cat videos of the year.
An adorable kitten has been caught red-pawed after snatching a slice of pizza from its owner. The 6-month-old kitty grabbed the slice from the counter and ran off when the owner wasn't looking. The woman immediately took the pizza out of the kitten's mouth and it was growling and keeping a tight grip on the slice. The owner says her kitten is a food thief, but it is completely harmless and wouldn't hurt anybody.
A brother and sister from Denver have reunited after 30 years of separation. It happened because both wound up serving in the U.S. Navy. The reunion took place in San Diego. Navy Commander Cindy Murray says she has been looking for her brother for a long time. Robert Williamson is a Navy Chief Aviation Ordnance man. They last saw each other in the late 1970s. The siblings have the same father, but they lost contact when he moved away.
A UK woman has given birth to identical triplets. Such births are rare because they result from a single fertilized egg dividing into 3 separate embryos. Karen Gilbert delivered the girls by C-section 2 months earlier than expected. Gilbert spent 6 weeks in intensive care. The newborn girls weigh less than 6 pounds and they're reported to do well.
Thank you for watching Valley View News. I'm Dylan Connolly.
And I'm Jay Jenkins. Have a fantastic week.